I want you to join with me. I want to use your scripture from Ephesians, the 6th chapter. And if you would give me a little liberty, I'd like to extend that from verses 10 to 12. I'd like to. Your theme is still standing. But I'd like to personalize that in my subject, and I'd like to use as a subject this morning the author of still standing. The author of still standing. You can be seated. Now, before you get too excited about the title that I just gave, that's not author, A-R-T-H-U-R. That's author, A-U-T-H-O-R. This morning we're going to talk about the author of still standing. This morning we're going to talk about the composer that made still standing mean something. We're going to talk about the one that's still standing. From the creation of the world, he's still standing. Where is he standing, Pastor Fitz? He's standing with you. That's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the one that told us how we can stand. I love your theme. I love it because it speaks to Paul telling the Ephesian church. He starts out with, says, finally. Now, it's interesting because when you hear finally, that means I'm getting to the end. Here we are at the 6th chapter of Ephesians. He's coming to the roundhouse, as they used to say. And he's saying, finally, I want you to understand it's not over, but you're coming to a conclusion to a certain stage of your life. And I want you to understand that in that, you need to do some things in order to be prepared for what's coming after that. It says, you know, I love the way he says it. He says, because first of all, I want you to understand the first thing you need to know is where your strength comes from. Where is the source of your strength? Paul says, I want you to first of all do an inventory to see where your source is coming from. It's interesting because when we have storms, we had a storm a few months ago and all the lights went out. And when the lights went out, that meant the electricity went off. And when the electricity went off, that means that everything in the refrigerator was at jeopardy. That means there was no air. And y'all remember during that time frame, that was one of the hottest times that we was experiencing in Indianapolis, but there wasn't no air on. And it looked like AES was our source. And our source failed us. And we were going through some suffering. But what I love what Paul says here is your source is not AES or IPL or however you want to call it. He says your source is the Lord. He says, I want you to understand is that AES, when it comes back on, you're going to be back with a refrigerator. You're going to be back with your AC. But while you didn't have your AC, while you didn't have your stuff in your refrigerator, the real source, the Lord, was still with you, guiding you and being with you through all of those situations. And so what he's saying is understand the source is not what it looks like. The source is the one that's keeping you. He said, and it's the Lord. He said, I want you to understand. He said, first of all, he said, the understanding the source is you got to know, first of all, your strength is not eternal. It's not something internal that happens to you. You don't have the strength. I know we do all this building of muscles and we do all this education in our mind and all these different things, but the strength is not in you. The strength is in him. He provides what you need when time is needed for it. The strength is not something that you can produce. You can't have enough strength. Because see, something is going to happen to cause us to get mad. Something's going to happen to cause us to fail. Something's going to happen to cause us not to be able to hold steadfast to what we're doing. But when we know where our source is, when we get weak, he gets strong. I love the way he told Paul. Paul said, if you could remove these thorns from me, I could do so much for you. And he told Paul, if I removed them, you wouldn't see me. So because I leave them there, my grace is sufficient. What he said was, because I won't leave you, because I won't take it out, that's going to make you stronger. He says, you don't have it internally. He says also, your strength comes from external. When he says, in the power of his might, he's saying that God has all the power to give you what you need. He has all the power to make a situation change. We say so many times that our government is doing this to us, and we say so many times that our jobs are doing this to us, and we say so many times all these things are happening to us. But when we recognize and realize that our external source don't care about what the government is doing, don't care about what your job is doing, the external source has all the provision you need. And the external source, he's saying, is God. The power is in him. And when I recognize the power is in him, when I start getting tired, I start looking to my power. When I start getting weak, I start calling on my power. When I see that my power is not something that I can keep generating. You know why? Because see, I get a time where I don't want to generate no power. Oh, y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. You get a time I don't want to generate no love. I don't want to generate no forgiveness. I don't want to generate nothing. There's a time where you get frustrated, you get tired. I'm tired of being Mr. Okay. I'm tired of being Mr. Get Along. I don't want to do it. After 30 years of serving as a servant of God, I know my brother had many a time where he said, I don't want to call that member. I don't want to go see them in the hospital. I don't want to do this. I'm tired of being talked about. I'm tired of not being followed. I'm sure all of that happened. And if it was him that was doing it, he wouldn't be here right now. But only because of the grace. So when you don't want to do it, God says you got to do it. And you know what I love? What I love is he knows, Brother Rick, what I need. And he knows when I need it. And he knows how I need it. And you know, there's nobody that can whip you more than God. But now, you got to have a relationship to understand the whooping. See, I'm not going to grab somebody's kid that's acting up and whoop them unless I want to fight their parents. But that one sitting over there, he act up. I'm going to grab him by his neck. And I'm going to take care of him right quick. Why am I going to do that? Because that one's mine. Well, guess what you are? When you belong to the Lord, he gonna grab you by your neck. He gonna let you know, I didn't teach you that. I didn't give you that. I didn't tell you to be on the attack. I didn't tell you to attack. I told you to love. He says, you know where your power comes from. You know it comes from him. He says, you better know without a certainty of a doubt the source of your strength. He says, but you also better know the source of your stability. In verse 11, he says, put on the whole armor of God. I love that because he's saying that you're going to be embattled. If you know anything about battle, sometimes things happen that you didn't plan on. But your armor protects you for those things you didn't plan on. And so because we all have a warfare we're dealing with, you better put on the armor. He says, put on. What do you mean by that? That suggests that to put on means once and for all. Register that. That don't mean put on because it's wintertime. That don't mean put on because it's summertime. That don't mean put on because it's springtime. That means put on because it's permanent. We got to put on the whole armor. He says, put it on. He didn't say nothing about put it on until. He said, put it on. That means that I got to embrace in it. I got to take it. I got to receive it. I got to hold. Why is it important to put it on? Because things are going to come your way that you're not going to expect. And when you take it off, see, I got a habit sometimes going to bed and taking it off. And see, you don't recognize then because you if you go into bed, you go into rest or getting ready to eat. I take it off because I'm getting ready to eat. I'm getting ready to enjoy myself. Getting ready to watch a good movie. I take it off because I'm getting ready to relax and sit down. See, we all do that. We take it off at the times of comfort, at the times of ease. But see, what happens is that's what the devil is waiting for you to do. He's waiting for you to take it off. He's waiting for you to go to sleep so he can get in your mind and start bringing some dreams to you. He's waiting for you to take it off when you're getting ready to eat and you think that food, then you look at that meat and it's rare and you get upset. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to take it off. He don't want you to put it on. Because see, if you put it on, you might keep it on. And what Paul said, you better put it on. But then he says, wait a minute. He says, not only put it on, but he says, put on the whole. Not some of it. Just not the feet. Just not the head. He said, put on the whole armor of God. Why is that? Because you don't know where you're going to be attacked next. And that's why we put on the whole armor of God. Because you know what? I don't know about y'all, but sometimes my mind goes crazy. And if I don't put on that helmet, my mind, it'll go crazy. It'll make me go crazy. My mind start thinking about stuff, start thinking about retaliation. So I think, maybe I'm the only one to talk about that. Maybe y'all all good Christian folk. Y'all have your armor on all the time, don't you? You don't ever take it off. You don't get mad. You don't say some off-color stuff. Y'all used to do that, right? You don't do it no more. Well, you just took off the armor if that's what you say. Because see, if we don't put it on and we don't keep it on, we're going to fall prey to what the devil has set up for us. That's why Paul says, put it on. And the whole bit of it. He says, and not only that, he says, put it on. And what are you putting on? You're putting on the armor, the protection that God has provided for you. The author has given you the protection in order for you to make it. That's what I love about God. He did not let us go through this world blindly. He says, I have protected you. I have given you what you need. Now use it. Use it. Because if you don't use it, it won't be effective. the whole armor. He says, I want you to understand that God has equipped us to face any situation we face. I'm so grateful that my brother learned that there was going to be battles that he wouldn't be able to fight, but God would have to fight for him. I'm so grateful that he learned. How do I know that? Because he shared that with me. Because see, when you share with someone where you been, and you can try to help them to miss those turns that you made, that's a blessing you are to somebody. But see, a lot of times we want to sit and watch folks fall so we can laugh at them. But if I can help you along the way to see the right way, then God bless you in the movement that he's going to put in your life. What we see is that it's not about how big I can be. It's about the big God that's in me. And when I see that, I say, Lord, I thank you. I thank you for the headaches. I thank you for the mistakes. I thank you for everything, because it all taught me to keep on my armor. It taught me to put the whole armor on. It taught me to quit taking off my feet, quit taking off my head shield, quit taking off my armor around my chest. It says keep it all on, because I need it. He says, I want you to understand that you are going to be embattled, but I have equipped you. He says, and then also we are enabled. He says, I'm doing all this so you'll be able to stand. See, it sounds good. Remember that song, Donnie McClurkin, Stand? In all your situations, stand. I was looking at something on Facebook, and one of the comedians was saying to him, he said, yeah, Donnie McClurkin is in the audience. Yeah, Donnie, I like that song, Stand. He said, but you must have been drunk when you wrote that. He said, because all that stuff you said, ain't no way in the world you're going to be able to stand after all that happened to you. And I said, that's what the world sees. See, the world sees that you're not supposed to get back up. World sees that you're supposed to stay down. That's what the devil's objective is to keep you down. He know he can't get you. But if he can rob you of some joy, if he can put you down and hold you down, oh, he's happy to do it. But what we got to remember is, oh, weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in my morning. What we have to understand is that God has already known what my situation is and has already equipped me. Yes, he has. Equipped me for battle. So I can say, Lord, I thank you. I thank you for being my strength. I thank you for being my stability. But then I better know, and this is what I love the way Paul says, I want you to know where your strength is. I want you to know that strength that he said he was going to give you, the author of Standing Still, has told you what to do. But then I want you to understand also the source of your struggle. I want you to understand the source of your struggle. He says in verse 12, he says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Let me stop right there. I love the word for. He says, he reminds us why we must wear that. And the reason why is because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. Let me break that down just a little bit easier, because y'all didn't really go with that one. You're not wrestling against people. Quit putting a face on the devil. Because see, when you put a face on the devil, and see, this is where, and see, I'm not telling y'all something that I ain't working. I got to work on this myself. Yeah, dude, because I didn't put many of faces on the devil. Yeah, family, everybody. I didn't got upset, then got mad, you just devil. Put a face on that. Don't let the flesh and blood cause you to lose sight of where it's coming from. Paul is saying, you know what? I want you to know this. He says, the enemy is who you're wrestling with. That's not that person. He says, so quit cussing out that person. Quit attacking that person. Quit fussing with that person. Because that person is not where this is coming from. This person is being used by the enemy because the enemy knows what's close to you. Oh, y'all think I'm kidding? Oh, no. He knows your children mean everything to you. And he'll get in them children to get in you. He knows your mate means everything to you. And he'll get in that mate to get in you. He'll get in whichever way he sees a way to get in. And you know the thing about it is, what I found out, Kenny, is that it seems like the one time when I give a compliment or give a praise, that's when the devil comes. That's when he comes. When you start talking about, boy, you know, life sure is good now, that's when he comes. When you start talking about, boy, I've been on this job 30 years, that's when he comes. He comes every time he sees that you have relaxed in your praise. Anytime that you have appeared to relax in your praise, he shows up. And then he shows up in the flesh of something or someone and allows you to fall out of what the armor is and fall into what's presented to you. But what I want to encourage you is God already knows that. And what he says is, I'm going to bring you something that's going to remind you, not of the flesh, but of me. I'm going to remind you. You know, I was thinking this, I was sharing yesterday. This is a rough period of time. For some reason, this year is even more impactful than before. My father's birthday was yesterday. And, you know, I know, and please, I'm not trying to offend nobody. But all this heavenly birthday stuff, I'm not with that, but I'm not trying to offend nobody. Because, see, my father, he wouldn't come back here now for no birthday, for no celebration, for no nothing, okay? So, me saying it's his heavenly birthday, no, he would have been 91 years old if he lived. But, see, we live in a social media era. And Brother Sample, every time, and see, yesterday I expected it. When I get on there, bing, this stuff pops up. My dad's picture pops up. Folk I didn't even know knew him that's in my friends. See, that Facebook stuff is something else. It pops up in mine. I'm seeing pictures I didn't even know he took. I said, Lord, here we go again. I said, when I just get it, then I got to look at another one. Then this morning, I still see the residue. Some others coming. And I said, what would the, I said, I understand y'all want to say, but are you thinking about those that were close? That every time you do that, if you didn't see nothing from me, stay out of it. Because you don't know what effect you having on the family. I understand everybody wants love. I understand everybody. But what we have to understand is it ain't all you. Sometimes we got to think about somebody else other than ourselves. And all I'm saying is, I don't mind you missing him. I don't mind you talking about him. But do you got to put 15 pictures up of him? And I don't look at all of them, but man, they all pop up and you know, the one got 5, one got 6, so you're going to see something. But then again, that's the devil. That's him working where you thought you was good. Oh yeah, you thought you was handling it. You thought you was good. So I'm going to come in where you least expect it. How many of y'all didn't have him show up where you least expect it and show out in your life? And then when you come to realize, man, wait a minute. Have I really lost it? No, you ain't lost it. You're being challenged. That's why Paul said, let me help you. Because see, when you put on the whole armor, and you equip yourself. I said, I love the way he says, you know what? Understand this. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but you wrestling with the enemy. And the enemy is coming at you in ways that you don't understand. But that's why he said, hook up with the Lord. Because when you understand God is your source, when he comes in and tries to kill your power, he has no influence because God says he can't touch me.
We know that you enjoyed that great message. We are at the point in our service that we all participate in. Please join us in giving by using our PayPal links on www.3mbc.org and www.facebook.com/MMMBC. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you.